Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Friday, March 27th, 2026. After 2 years, the hit-and-run trial from 2024 has reached a verdict. Here is reporter Adeline J. Wells with a recap from court.
Troy Reynolds was found guilty on all counts yesterday afternoon. Reynolds was the suspect in a hit-and-run collision from the night of January 26, 2024, on 29 Palms Highway, near the intersection with Avalon Avenue. The collision claimed the life of 16-year-old Joshua Barreras, who was found laying unresponsive in the center median of the four-lane highway by Morongo Basin Sheriff's deputies and was pronounced deceased less than an hour later. The jury was made up of 5 women and 7 men and deliberated for just under 2 hours before delivering the guilty verdict. Both the prosecution and the defense rested at the end of court on Wednesday. The trial began yesterday with Judge Sarah Oliver reading a statement of the offense to the jury. Reynolds was charged with felony hit and run resulting in permanent injury or death. Further, there were 2 aggravating factors, one being that Reynolds occupied a position of leadership or induced others to participate in the crime. This factor refers to Reynolds' relationship with his employee James Phipps, who picked up Reynolds from Riverside the night of the collision and ordered the repairs of the damaged tow truck. The second aggravating factor is that the manner in which the crime was carried out indicated either sophistication or professionalism. Attorneys for both sides presented their closing remarks to the jury, beginning with the prosecution. District Attorney Jason Geltzo began by focusing on Joshua Barreras and the tragic event that took his life. He then reviewed the evidence presented by the prosecution, as well as Reynolds' own statements made while on the witness stand. On Wednesday, Attorney Geltzo cross-examined Reynolds and needled him on testimony, particularly his decision to drive his damaged tow truck to Riverside for repair on the night of the collision. He said, quote, "If you think he just magically happened to get a call that took him to Riverside to a dealership that's not open at 1 a.m, that seems a little far-fetched." End quote. Defense attorney James Rogan also began his closing remarks by referencing Joshua Barreras. He addressed the jury saying, quote, "Your job is to sit here and decide if my client is guilty or not guilty of the crime that he was charged with. Your job is not to avenge Mr. Barreras. His death is an unqualified tragedy." End quote. Attorney Rogan then explained that the jury's task was determining the verdict based on proof beyond a reasonable doubt. He acknowledged that Reynolds leaving the scene of the collision without providing his information to law enforcement would violate the code section related to hit and run. Much of his closing remarks instead focused on the 2 aggravating factors, which Rogan argued were based on speculation rather than evidence. He said, quote, "The burden on the aggravated factors is just as high as it is in the underlying criminal act on the part of the crime." End quote. With that, the 2 years of court proceedings were finished, and Troy Reynolds' fate was in the hands of the jury. The jury deliberated for just under 2 hours before reaching the verdict. Several sheriff's deputies were posted throughout the courtroom, along with staff from the district attorney's office and members of both Joshua Barreras and Troy Reynolds' families. The room was heavy with silence as Judge Oliver read the verdict, guilty, along with finding both aggravating factors to be true. Following the reading, Geltzo and Detective Shane Crowell accompanied Barreras' family and friends as they exited the courthouse. Barreras' grandmother, Sherry Marino, was emotional as she commented on the lengthy judicial process.
"It's been a long 2 years and 3 months, and we got justice. Amen. We got justice."
Deputies took Reynolds into custody, and he is being held without bail. He will return to court on April 29th for a sentencing hearing. Reporting for Z107.7 News, this is Adeline J. Wells.
If you love to run or walk here in the high desert, the town of Yucca Valley is hosting an event tomorrow morning just for you. The 34th annual Healthy Heart 5K Run and 2K Health Walk is happening at Essig Park, and you can register to participate right up to the starting bell. For more than 3 decades, the Healthy Heart Run and Walk has encouraged residents of all ages to stay active and prioritize heart health. Whether participants are competitive runners, casual joggers, or individuals looking to enjoy a morning walk with friends and family, the event provides a fun and welcoming opportunity to get moving while supporting a long-standing community tradition. It costs $35 to register, and participants registering on the day of the event are advised to arrive early to ensure availability. You can sign up today and find more information at yucca-valley.org. The To Be Continued Festival returns to the Palms in Wonder Valley starting today. Now in its 3rd year, The eccentric and eclectic festival highlights the best and strangest of the high desert arts community. I spoke with organizer Lindsay Anderson about this year's festival.
It's called To Be Continued, and it's happening at the Palms in Wonder Valley, March 27th through 29th. It's 3 days of art, music, interactive experiences, great food at the Palms, and yeah, there's going to be a variety of really fun bands. We're going to have a tooth temple, somebody doing grills. We're going to have a tattoo shack. We're going to have an opera house. We're going to have DJs. We're going to have a pirate ship that drives through the desert. It's a pretty wild and amazing time. This is our third year, actually. Oh, well, we're going to have a lot of excellent local bands. Acts from out of town. It's like a nice mix of your local fam. And it's affordable too. Tickets are $20. They can show up on the day of the festival, and they can follow at TBC Fest on Instagram to find out more about how to buy advance tickets or golden tickets or tickets at the door.
The High Desert Beekeepers Association meets tomorrow. They'll ask the question, what do you look for inside the hive? They want you to bring your bee stories, bee adventures, and bee questions to the group. The High Desert Beekeepers Association meets at noon tomorrow at Rainbow Stew, located at 55509 29 Palms Highway in Yucca Valley. You can attend the meeting remotely at a link in this story at Z107.7fm.com. Following that at Rainbow Stew, there's a spring garden class. That will begin at 2 p.m. You can join herbalist and gardener Charla Shamhart for a session about soil amendments, fertilizers, shade cloth, spring versus fall seed varieties, and more. You'll also learn how to sprout difficult seeds like peppers. A small donation is suggested, and if you RSVP ahead of time, Shamhart will share seeds, herbs, and plants. You can RSVP by calling 760-401-0689. That event's happening at Rainbow Stew at 2 p.m. tomorrow. The High Desert Nature Museum debuts its 20th annual Spring Recycled Art Exhibition called Wondrous Waste 2026 Recycled Art Exhibition. It debuts tomorrow. The community-contributed art exhibition is designed to inspire people to rethink consumer culture and its impact on the environment by sharing innovative and creative uses of recycled or repurposed materials. The show, Wondrous Waste, holds its opening reception tomorrow from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Winners of the show will be announced during the reception. You can enjoy light refreshments, meet the artists, and explore how everyday objects can be transformed into meaningful works of art. Attention actors, grab your sides. 2 upcoming theater productions will be holding auditions this weekend. Tomorrow, the newly formed Joshua Tree Shakespeare Company will launch its inaugural production with a Western-inspired adaptation of The Taming of the Shrew, directed by Molly Cattleback. Auditions will be held Saturday at high noon at the 29 Palms Elks Lodge. Actors of all experience levels are encouraged to attend. On Sunday, Theater 29 and director Lisa Hodgson will be holding auditions for the beloved and deeply moving comedy Steel Magnolias, a story that celebrates the unbreakable bonds between 6 extraordinary women who lift each other up through life's sweetest joys and toughest trials. Auditions will take place on Sunday at 6 p.m. at Theater 29's main stage. You can find more information about both auditions at this story at Z107.7fm.com. It's the final days to register for the 25th annual Highway 62 Open Studio Art Tours. The yearly event sees artists across the Morongo Basin open their homes and art studios to visitors and neighbors. Organized by the Morongo Basin Cultural Arts Council, the event happens in the first 3 weeks of October. This year, the organizers are emphasizing shared studios for artists. You can learn more about what that means and how you can register to participate in the event by visiting hwy62arttours.org or use a link in this story at z1077fm.com. Registration is open until March 31st. And finally, it is with a heavy heart that we announce the passing of the High Desert's karaoke maestro, Roberto Absalor, a friendly and welcoming face who ran karaoke nights at watering holes across the Morongo Basin. He passed away on March 19th. Absalor was known to welcome anyone and everyone with a smile and a song. I've personally spent many nights singing with him at Las Palmas in Yucca Valley. There will be a karaoke night memorializing Absalor happening tonight at Las Palmas. That's at the intersection of 29 Palms Highway and Dumosa in Yucca Valley. Come out tonight from 8 p.m. to midnight to sing in his honor. Early last year, I sat down with Absolor to discuss his time running karaoke nights in the high desert. Here is some of that interview. That's Roberto Absolor singing. If you've performed karaoke in the Morongo Basin any time in the last 2 decades, you've probably met Roberto, and hopefully you've tipped him. Roberto Absolor has been running karaoke nights several times a week since the early 2000s all over the Morongo Basin. He's been the fixture on the stage of the former Cocopelli's Cantina, or at the Palladium, or Giant Rock Meeting Room. I sat down with Absolor at a booth at the former Cocopelli space, now a part of Las Palmas in Yucca Valley. You are kind of the karaoke kingpin of the high desert?
Well, I've been doing it for 20 years up here in the high desert.
Okay.
Started off at JT Saloon, probably done every house around here.
And what got you started?
Well, I was in bands, and in fact, I was in some notable blues bands up in the eastern part of Washington. And so I've always sang, and actually I was part of a house band here for 2 years when it was the old Cocopelli. Was never going to get rich or famous doing that, but it was always fun.
What's some of the wild stuff you've seen?
I think that the biggest thing I've always seen is people, the joy in it. People always had fun at it and brought whatever their perspective and whatever's on their mind at the time, and just let it out on the stage. I was here for 17 years in this very place when it was another business. This was always kind of a home base.
What's your favorite karaoke song?
Today, because it changes every day, I've been into Michael Bublé for whatever reason. Sing those old standards,
That's our local news. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm Jeff Harmetz.